Hello, Gal Nation, and welcome to episode 6 of Chat Joe with Elena Demos. Today, I am joined by a special guest. He is my proctor, but also one of my friends, Pete.
Hi.
Pete, what's up?
What's up, everyone? Hi, guys.
Pete's been proctoring my show. He's been doing an amazing job. And I was like, you know what? I think we should have Pete come on and give us appreciation for all of his hard work. All right, so Pete, with every episode, obviously, you're here, you know the deal. I go ahead and I let my guest introduce themselves. So tell us what year you are at Iona. Are you a resident or commuter? What are you studying? What are you involved in on campus? Are you involved in anything off campus? Talk to us.
Okay. Hi, my name's Pete. I'm a junior. I live here. I actually live right next door to this building. I'm not going to disclose which building it is because I don't want people coming to find me, but I do live right next door. Like I said, I'm a junior. I am the vice president of the radio club here. So, without me and I'm going to shout out, without me and Robbie, a lot of the stuff that you're seeing today wouldn't really be possible right now. I'm not really involved in a lot off campus, but other than that, there's not really much else to my boring little life.
But what about on campus?
Well, on campus, like I said, I have WIUR, and that's really it. That's really all I do. I really do just a lot with the radio. I write here and there for the newspaper as well. So other than that, there's not really a lot of media stuff.
Gale Guides.
Oh yeah, I got hired by Gale Guides.
You just got hired by Gale Guides. Congratulations.
Thank you.
See, you're trying to lie to the people. You're like, I don't know.
I'm just trying not to disclose a lot of information.
I don't know, guys. I know him well enough. I'm like sitting here. Nope, you got more. But all right, so you're a junior. So tell us, what is junior year? How has it been so far?
It's been good. It's been busy. Especially like class wise. I had to write a film script or short script.
Yep.
I have to broadcast. I have to cover and I guess broadcast 3 to 5 different Iona sporting events. One of which is the men's basketball home opener. I have 2 business classes which I'm taking, which are not difficult. It's a very easy work. It's just a lot of work. So I wouldn't say it's a difficult class, but it's just like a heavy workload, especially with the marketing class, because you have to we had to just write a whole paper about a chosen brand and then what your product is and develop your own product that doesn't exist. It's a lot of work, but it was very simplified, but a lot of work.
Okay.
My big boy words. But yeah, it was a lot of putting things together. Luckily, we were allowed to use AI for portions. So for the design portion, so what the product would look like and the social media advertising, you're allowed to have that digital artificially made instead of hand drawn. So that helped astronomically. My handwriting and hand drawing was not good, so it would have looked like a 4-year-old if you drew it. It would have looked horrible.
So with media, what made you want to study media, get involved in media?
Well, it started, I always loved sports when I was a kid. So it always started, and then I was thinking about being in the medical field though, because I know a lot about medical field as well. And then I blew my knee out playing flag football game a couple years ago. And then after I had the surgery and stuff, I was like, I don't really think physical therapy was for me. After doing the physical therapy for it, it kind of deterred me in a way, because I was like, I went through all the pain of therapy, and I'm like, I don't want to do that and make other people go into that pain, even though it's helping them in the long run. I didn't feel like after I had felt what I went through, I was like, I don't want to put other people through that and push them. So then I revisited before high school ended, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go into the media field, into sports media. It started as sports media. Now it's just general media. I'm thinking because with the radio, I'm thinking very heavily between writing for media, being a broadcast journalist where you go around, you write, you cover, report, or being on the radio, because those are the 2 things I do the most. And it's now you're at the point you got to choose which side you want to be on. Yep. So I do both of those now, and it really helps. Like I said, it all started with sports media though. So in 2017, I was home for a very long time due to multiple health issues. So to compensate for being home and not really, being able to see my friends and go out and do normal stuff for almost a year, I picked up a bigger liking than what I used to have into hockey and football specifically, and like educated myself in like 6 months on the history of the sport and what each sport, how it started and like how it evolved over the last 50, 60, even 100 years. And that's kind of what pushed me through to the media field.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. And not a lot of people know that story. So whoever's watching that just found out something they don't know about me at all.
I just found that out.
Like
I didn't know
she's known me for, I would say, about 6 months, 5 months. We've been.
Hold on. June, July, August, September, October. Almost 6.
Almost 6 months. And I've never told her that story yet.
My brain is baffled. That is bonkers. It's truly.
Yeah, it's a deep story. It's a deep story. That's why I don't
share
it.
But it's inspiring, though.
It is. But it's like so personal. I don't like to share it to a lot of people unless I really trust them. And
well, I thank you for sharing with us because that is a big story. I mean, and that's interesting because there's if you're like to ask someone, oh, how did you get involved in media? Oh, I just like the idea of it or whatever it may be. Like this is like a story.
Yeah,
this is one that should be shared.
Mm-hmm. It is. Sorry. It's annoying me vibrating. Somebody's taking it out of my pocket. It's a story that should be. It is a story.
It's a great story. All right. So, how did you choose Iona? Were there other schools that you were like, all right, you know what? I think I want to apply here. Or was Iona always like, let's do Iona?
In high school, I applied to, I want to say 11 or 12 schools, and I only got rejected by one. And the one school I believe was Fordham. And
my mom went to Fordham.
And the only reason I applied to Fordham was because a lot of my high school professors, I went to a private high school in Brooklyn, and a lot of some of the professors there had either had connections or taught in Fordham, so they were like pushing me to apply there to see if I get it because I had a like 3.3 I think GPA or 3.4 coming into college. And they like pushed for, a lot of the students to put Fordham. I think majority of the senior class I graduated applied to Fordham. I don't know if anyone actually got accepted, but, and then I got into Marist and St. John's. And St. John's was my school if I didn't decide to dorm. Because going back again to like the health issues and the medical things that I have going on, like, personally, I didn't feel comfortable at first dorming. And I was like very nervous about going away from home with all that stuff because I was like I'm so used to like all the treatments for it and stuff that I do. Yeah. But it was like, do I just want to be in my comfort and drive or take the train back and forth to school, or do I want to try going away? So really, it came down to Marist here and then St. John's, and then I decided against Marist. I'm like, Marist is too far from home. It's about like an hour and a half. Okay. This is only about like 45 minutes without traffic from Brooklyn. So it came down to here in St. John's, and ultimately I decided to go away. And here we are 3 years later. We're here doing the radio show, partially running the radio club. I don't think some of these opportunities that I do here I would have had as a commuter in St. John's thinking about it in retrospect. Yeah. Still love their basketball team. Shout out Rick Pitino, St. John's, growing all the way this year. But other than that.
He's such a sports fanatic. Every conversation we have, it's something about sports. We were having a conversation once, like on the phone in like June or something. And I was talking about something, and next thing you know, he goes, Knicks are up by 10. I'm like, I'm not talking about that though.
I remember that. That was bad. I remember that. That one was bad.
What is wrong? And
that was so out of random.
Sorry, continue. I was like,
we were playing Boston in the playoffs. We were down 20 at one point. And we went up 10. What am I supposed to not get excited? We came back from a 20-point deficit to beat Boston in game 1 and game 2.
These are the people I choose as my friends. But no. So like speaking of friends, so like obviously this year I think we've gotten closer this year because like over the summer we didn't really see each other.
We saw each other once over summer, and it was first. I don't want to air out what it was if you're not comfortable.
It's fine. You can tell. I don't care.
So when we only saw each other when her grandmother passed away. I came up for a couple days to visit her to make sure she was okay and try to make her feel better. So came to see her for like 2 days. That was it. We didn't see each other at all before or after that until we came back to school.
Yeah, no, and we've got the chance to like hang out a lot.
We've hung out a lot. We've done we went to that museum in the city.
We went to the museum in the city.
We did
the Greek fair.
We did the Greek
you want to talk about the Greek fair a little bit?
Actually,
I talked about that.
We talked
not
about
on my last episode, the previous one, but I feel like because we talked with Vin about it. So now we'll talk with Pete about it because I feel like we can get Pete's take on it.
I'm Italian, so like we have the Feast of San Gennaro in the city. The Greek fair, the Greek fair felt like a smaller version of that.
Yeah.
Even though it's a different culture, it felt like a smaller version of that. And it was great to see like other culture, like the Greek culture, like come together like that. Because you don't see that today. You don't see, big culture groups coming together. Like you don't see Italian people come together like that anymore. You don't see Greek people come like in general. It's just the way the world is now. So seeing like a fair like that it was so fun. They had rides, the great food. It was it was a lot of fun. It really was. And then me and Dom personally enjoyed the Greek dancers. Me and Dom were standing there watching the Greek dance for like 10 minutes and we were like, this is awesome.
No, we were good. I think
you guys were on a ride. That's when it was.
We were on a ride and then Brooke's like, we should Greek dance.
Yeah,
I was like, you go out and do it. And she's like, nope.
That would have been funny.
She's like, you're coming with. I'm like, no.
That was a fun night. And then the next day we went up going to the Feast of San Gennaro.
We went to the Feast of San Gennaro. Was it?
Yeah, it was. We went to the Greek fair.
No, because
we went to dinner for our friend's birthday. Well,
because everyone everyone came to the house.
Yeah.
After
that wasn't when I found on your stairs, right? No,
that was a different time. Everyone came to the house. Everyone's there till like 12:45.
Yeah, we were watching.
So then I woke up like 9 hours later, went to the San Gennaro, and then we
hung out after that. Then we went back the next day with a different group of friends, and
it was equally as fun.
I think the second day we had a little bit more fun. The second day because we were with my dad more, so like my dad took us around more to like more parts of the feast.
Yeah.
And second of all, we had a bigger group, so it was like more people.
It was and it was fun. And then after we all went to my house,
we can talk about what happened with this.
Do we want to talk about it?
I fell down her stairs. I'll just say
no. Here's the thing, though. Okay, this guy's a big sports guy, right? Okay, so
oh Jesus Christ,
we had snacks. One of them was chips and salsa.
We had 2 different bags of chips, salsa, and pizza. And pizza was down there too.
Pete was holding salsa.
Yeah, and I don't know how, but I believe my sock got wet. I think it's because it drizzled out, and like we took our shoes off to go in our house because our shoes were wet. And somehow my sock got wet. And when I went on the stairs are like hardwood stairs, but they're like that like shine material where it's like you could slide on it, not like old school wood.
I'm just picturing
it wasn't like old school wood. It was like glossed over wood. And I think my sock being wet just like slit and my leg gave out and I just went. But I was sitting down each stairs, and I just ended up on the below the stairs, holding salsa like a running back under my arm like this.
See, there's so comes his sports experience comes in there.
I held it like this so it didn't break and shatter all over. My water bottle ended up across the room in the dog's crate, like shot out of my hand, ended up in the dog's crate, and I was more concerned about the glass jar of salsa than anything because I didn't want to break glass on her floor and put salsa everywhere. So
I can picture that so we were with 2 of our other friends and the reactions were myself and my friend Billy, we were dying. We were like, great. Our friend Brooke, the only one who cares, she goes, oh my God, are you okay?
She screamed, but she showed concern. She didn't even laugh until she saw me laughing about it. She was like genuinely kind of hurt. Can I say what your dad said too?
And then my dad, he goes,
witnessed it all.
He goes, you scared the dogs, man.
And the way he said it was so serious.
The dogs ran and were on the couch together, like shaking.
I'm dying, dude. That was one of the best things we've ever done.
It was it was a great fall.
It was.
It was, no one filmed it, and we're really mad.
But that was like an example of how like good friends we are. Is like we just
and like an example of like how Iona brings people together because the friend group we have now, we would have never imagined all these people together.
The friend group we have now, the only person I knew beforehand with Billy. And that's because Billy's probably one of my 3 best friends here.
Yeah.
Between him, Jake, and Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've known Billy since I was a freshman here. That's a year before you were here. Other than that, I met Brooke one time prior to that. I think it was one of our friends' birthdays, and I met her in May. So like before really September, like I said, the only person I was like close with was Billy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what else? What else you have prepared?
What else? I'm trying to think of what. Oh, so sometimes you film some of the sports games. Why don't you talk to people a little bit about like that? Like what's that like? What's the process with doing that?
So I'm taking a class called it's literally called Sports Broadcasting and Production. So for the course, we had to film a soccer game and make a stand-up piece about it. You're partnered up with someone else from the class. So me and my friend partner up because we're in the same class together, which is actually like super clutch because like it's like we know each other well enough. We know how we flow at this point, so we know how we do. We partnered up on like I would say like at least like 5-6 different projects over like the course of the last year and a half. So what we do is we rent out a camera from the media department. We go to the game. We film B-roll. B-roll, for people who don't know media well, is basically like when you see like that footage on like a newscast of like sports highlights, that's basically B-roll where the person talks over it. So we'll film clips, highlights, parts of the game, and then we'll edit, and then we'll film an on-camera segment either prior to the game or post-game. And if possible, we'll get an interview with a player or coach. And what we'll do is we'll make that into like a 2-minute sports package where like you introduce who you are. Like I would be like, hi, I'm Pietro Lardi, here with Elena Demos. We're here at the covering the Iona men's basketball home opener. They look for a shot, like something like that. That would be like how you open it. And then like when you sign off, you recap who you are. And it's like, it's super simple. It sounds super simple, but it's super complex when you're in front of the camera and, like you don't have a prompter in front of you and you don't know what you're going to say. So it's like, it's not as simple as it may sound, me explaining it verbally.
Yeah.
And the worst part of it is like, we don't have editors. So we have to edit. I'm not saying it's the worst part, but the hardest part is the editors. We don't get editors, we have to edit everything on our own.
Right.
So we have to that's why we have to film what goes over our voiceover.
Yeah.
And everything.
Right. Now, I think because we're gonna wrap up soon, but one thing I do want to talk about is an experience you had over the summer, which is the Bruce Beck Media Camp.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I've done that for 3 years. Last year was my 3rd and probably final year working the camp. I'll probably look in to be an intern for it, depending how I guess summer and work goes. So depending how I might see if I could be like an intern for the rookie camp. So they have 2 levels. They have a rookie camp, which is like you basically learn like the introduction to being on camera. It's run by Bruce Beck, NBC sports anchor, longtime sports anchor, one of the best. So what he does, he takes a week off of NBC, I believe, and he runs like the rookie camp. And then we have the veteran camp, which is run by a really good friend of mine, Mike Quick, one of a really good family friend and a really good person to be around. He runs the veteran camp, and what he does in the veteran camp is like you're thrown to the wolves. So it's like you're expected and you need to have experience there. So it's like first day you're doing like breaking news segments. Like you're given a topic. It's 5 topics. You pick one of the 5 and you don't know what they are. And you have an hour, you have your lunch break. We would call it working lunches. So you don't get to sit around and do nothing. For your lunch break, you would have to film a breaking news segment and practice it before you go on camera. And as soon as you would come back, we would be put right in front of camera, breaking news. Then you would get, told what you did good and what you didn't do good. And then the next day, you could get chosen again. You have no idea who's going to go each day. You would get chosen, you could get chosen 4 days in a row. And then they have the last day, they have a competition for it. Same thing with sports commentary. We had to write a commentary, which is like a minute breakdown of something. So like I believe I wrote mine on the Mets and Juan Soto. Someone wrote theirs on St. John's. So another one of my friends wrote one on NIL deals. So it was like, and then like you have to go on camera every day and perform that. And then the last thing we did was you had to choose a sports story, write your own script. Then you had to write a highlight script of the New York Knicks game or the New York Giants game. And then you had to write a second sports story and did an on-camera package out of what you wrote. You would do a on-camera teleprompter read, so you would be off camera, and then you would do another read. It was a lot of work, and it was so beneficial. And even though I didn't do the best at times, the feedback, keeping in touch with Mike, especially after the fact, that benefits you so much. And I feel like I've grown even more, applying those to doing stuff now.
It's very interesting. Very interesting. All right. Well, unfortunately, our time is up.
Yeah.
But Pete, thank you for taking the time to come on.
Of course.
Tell us.
It's different. It's, instead of sitting outside, I'm sitting inside the booth.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. No. And this was very interesting. I think we got a lot of good information.
For a last second, put together yesterday that I was going to come on event.
Because I wanted to surprise him because normally I have a guest like by Sunday, Monday, I'm ready.
Yeah, normally.
And then I'm like, all right, fine. So I was like, let me surprise him. I was like, by the way, you're coming on the show. He's like, oh,
really?
Me?
I was like, really?
I come on the show? I'm like, yes, you do. He's like, yay!
Yeah, because normally Sunday night or Monday morning, she'll text me, hey, this person's coming on the show. And then we would schedule what day of the week because, not every guest can make the scheduled time that we have at Wednesday at 5 o'clock. So then we would schedule it throughout the week, what days work. Today was yesterday. She texts me. Or no, she calls me. She goes, oh, I don't have a partner for the radio. I'm like, okay. She goes, you're coming on. I'm like, yay.
Yay.
And I was like, wow, that was so out of out of the blue.
Were you excited to come on?
No, yeah, I was because, like I said, it's one of my close friends doing it. So it's not like, I've been on Tyler's show, so being on her show, now I've been on both my friends' shows.
Did you get overstimulated at all thinking this is last minute? I gotta
No,
be
I didn't
prepared?
actually. I kept my composure nice. And,
Great.
I kept my composure nice.
He did. All right. Well, thank you again, Pete. Gale Nation, thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And be ready because next week we will have episode 7 underway. See you soon.